Hello, happy Monday. Wow, Monday already talk about money, eh? Well, I mean, I wanted to talk about this because, some of you might know I'm going through this property investment course, which is taking out so much of my time. But I've learned so much, and part of it is we gotta go for lots of viewings lah of properties to figure out what we can invest in and all that. Like trying to figure out what's a good unit, what's not a good unit, what's a good area type of stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty exhausting. Yesterday, I think we had like 6 viewings. Yeah, but what's interesting about it is one of the agents that I met, because I was looking at this area, and then that specific development lah. So he listed that he had like a unit there. So I asked him whether I can view it. Then he said, "Oh yeah, that place." He says that even he has a unit there, which I thought was pretty interesting. I said, "Oh, okay, so is it a good place to invest?" Then he just replied, "Oh, we discuss more later." So when I met him later on at the place, before we went up, found out that he bought the unit, I think it was like 3, 4 years ago, and he was actually a student in the area. So as a student in the area, he had enrolled to become a real estate agent part-time. So he was doing real estate on the side, and with the income, somehow he was able to make enough to buy a house. So he bought a unit there, thinking it was a good investment, because he knew how the area was and how the market was, right? So once he bought that place, and now he's making good money out of it from the rentals. I think we're talking about like close to 1,000 ringgit more than what he pays monthly, which is pretty good because he rents them out to the students, right? Because he knows the area very well. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because from there he went on, because he had no more credit to buy more houses. So from there he went on to rent units from other people in that development, because he knows that that's a good development. He rent units, he renovated it. I mean, not to say renovate so heavily, like for students, right? Just add beds and stuff like that. And he continued on, so he's doing that with a few units right now. So after he graduated, he had already set up like a good passive income from there, not only from the unit that he bought himself, but also from the ones that he started. So I thought that's pretty interesting. This guy is pretty resourceful. He was talking to me about a lot of the things that I'm actually learning these past few months, and the guy's pretty young lah, I would say, and is well on his way. And since then, I think 2 years after that, he was able to buy a few more properties from his income from there. So I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but when you rent out properties, like even if it's your own or you do a rental business, you can declare that as your income. So when you declare that rental income as your income, you are actually eligible for more loans. So this guy has that lah. I mean, he has his whole shebang run out. He not only the one that he bought, also the one he rent out. So he built a business out of it and used that to buy more houses. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Graduated, and that's what he's got, right? And here I am, like old uncle, trying to learn property investment, when this like 24-year-old guy or some shit just like obviously telling me things that I don't know at all. And that reminded me of this guy that I met about, I think last year lah, about end of last year. And he was my Grab driver. So I had a conversation with him in the jam, and he told me that actually that was his only day driving Grab, because he actually has like a car rental business which he rents out to students who want to drive Grab. So he had, at that time, I think it was seven cars that he either rented out, or there's few units that was him and his family. So he had like 7 cars, and he was renting them out to the students. But the reason why he was driving Grab that day, because he wanted to show how much income you can make driving Grab. So he just like went very aggressive lah that day, just went on and on, non-stop rides here and there, so that he can get the statements that they have the day and show it as like a testimonial of how much you can make doing this. So he was telling me about that units, the 7 units of cars that he has, and he was actually on the way to buying another 7. So he was like on the trying to get ready to buy another 7 to expand that, and this dude was just on his handbrake. He had been doing that for about a year plus, and he was on his sem break already running that. So I think by now he should already have his 7 additional units or more, I don't know. And that's a pretty good passive income as well, starting from when he was just studying and also knowing the market and the area very well. So I wanted to talk a bit more about that because I think that's an advantage, or that's a niche that not many people can get into, because there's so many things to look at, like even as adults, like you want to start a business, there's so many possibilities, which area, what do you do and all that. But the students, when they live in that environment every day, all those hostile students, you know what I'm talking about, especially you guys, you know what it's like every day. Hi Rafiq. So you know where do people go, what do people do and all that. So like the first guy just now, he knows the area very well. He knows that if he got the unit, he would be able to cut it up and rent it out per head. He knows it, because if you don't know the area well, you can easily just say, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that and all that, and then when it doesn't work out, you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what happened. But he knows it very well, so that's why he capitalized on that and he went all in on it. And the second guy as well, he knows that the students there want to make extra money, so that's why he did it. And you hear this as well for other stuff. I remember back in university, there were some people who was doing like a second-hand book business. So because textbooks were very expensive, they were like a few hundred ringgit, some of them like 200, 300 ringgit, right? So textbooks were very expensive. So they know that people would want to get rid of them, and there's a big gap in terms of the price, like sometimes 50 to 100 ringgit. Because they would know like the older people graduating from that class and get the textbook, say you want to sell, take note, and meet the freshies and like, hey, you want to buy? And then they just basically atas angin lah. It's like, okay, I know this guy is trying to buy, okay. Transfers hands and they make the profit from there. And this is also because of knowing how things worked. When you're in the ecosystem, you understand that very well, and you can capitalize on that and make money. I mean, ethics and all that, I think that's aside, because there's effort there for sure. Being the connector, of course, there's lots of effort. That's what forums and notice boards are for, right? So there's a lot of effort, and I think these guys earn the money. So why I wanted to talk about this was because one of my previous videos, I talk about debt. And that video, I think, hit some people, because I got a few inquiries, I got a few people telling me about their situation and asking me for advice, which I was a little bit surprised to be honest, because but in that video I did talk about a few ways to get out of it is you need to make more money, because you need to get out of debt. See, the two scenarios I said earlier, they wouldn't have expanded if they didn't have good credit. They wouldn't have been able to get the house or get more cars. The only reason is because they have good credit. So the most important thing is to start paying your debt. But I understand, sometimes you're in too deep and you just have all these things that you regret. And what are you gonna do, right? You just gotta move on. You just gotta move forward. So one of the things I say is that you gotta start paying your debts, even if it's a little bit. It doesn't have to be in full. Your credit card, it can be just a minimum amount, but it doesn't have to be in full. But eventually, you need to get out of there so that you can have something to look forward to in the future. So I wanted to talk about this environment, understanding your environment, and understanding how things work, so that you can capitalize on it and make money from it. Another example for this could be the food deliveries. Some of them they work in a company where it's like a office setup. They know that people don't really want to get out and get food. They know that it's kind of far to walk. Because I know some of them who, what they do is they make food, right? Or they buy food, and then they do delivery within the building. Because they know these people are, my department very lazy when they don't want to go out. Hey, there's this flyer, you want to get this food? Yeah, I mean, they recommend it that way, but it's actually something that they are affiliated to, something that they're related to, because they understand the building very well. And that's very interesting. And all this, kadang-kadang in the office, orang jual kuih lah, orang jual all kinds of stuff, is because they know the area very well. So there's actually no excuses, because students are killing it right now. Even the real estate example I told earlier, that guy is making 5 figures for sure. So students are killing it right now, doing it in a part-time job, graduating and having a steady thing happening. So as adults, people older with experience, we actually have a bigger network or a bigger market or lots more experience to tap into, but maybe the conventional way, because I don't know, I mean, sometimes I feel like, am I the only one like this? But I feel like it could be a generation thing as well, because I feel like the younger people lah, macam lah tua sangat kan, but I feel like younger people, they are quite entrepreneurial. So I really appreciate that you know, that energy and the effort that they put through. So there's hope for us, guys. You know, there's something that you can still do even in your capacity, in your around area, without breaking too much rules, I hope. Some people rent out the extra room they have to Airbnb, you know, things like that. You know, there's always something, but don't give up. You know, because there's ways to get out of it. Once you start paying, once you have a good line of credit, that opens up more possibilities for you, and hopefully you can use that ability to take loans to make more money for yourself and dig yourself out of the financial problems that you might have in your life. So yeah, I was actually kind of touched with that, like, some of the feedback that I got from that previous video. So I didn't really know how to react, because I don't really consider like myself as, you know, not want to tell people what to do with their money, right? But I mean, I do know some stuff, and if it helps someone, then great. You know, if it helps someone, kind of like give hope to them, that's great. It makes me very happy. So if it's useful for you, yeah, I mean, share it with someone. Let them know what they can do. You can just even talk about it to them, some of the possibilities, and maybe you might change someone's life. You know, so yeah, that's about it from me. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Not too bad of a Monday. Actually I'm procrastinating a bit because I got like some pre-course assignment. I got like a 3 days full training for the next, like, tomorrow till Thursday. So yeah, no sleep yet. I gotta work on that. So procrastinating a bit, talk about something that I like, why not, right? So you guys have a good rest, good night, and have a great week. Bye bye.